tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Theravada Buddhism series, Dhamma talk number 101. Dissociation condition. Vippayutta Paccayo. The main topic of our Mind and Matter Dhamma talks are Satipatthana, best translated as conditions. Conditions of how minds and matter interrelate. There are 24. These 24s are not necessarily one different or separated from the other entirely, but have overlapping phases. And today, we can call it a subtitle, is Vippayutta Paccayo, Dissociation condition. Vippayutta. Vi means no, nothing, not, without. So if you add that word in front of anything, it negates the first word. Vippayutta is association. Being together. So Vippayutta means not together or not associating. Paccayo is condition or conditioning, cause or causing. So Vippayutta Paccayo is conditioning or causing without associating. So, what is causing with by not associating? And here is all about mind and matter. Material phenomenon and mental states, nama and rupa, do not arise together and they do not disappear together. And also, both of them do not pay attention to the same object. They have their own objects to pay attention. And they do not depend on the same thing or object to arise or to appear. For the mind to rise, to come into existence, it has to have a material base. So this Vippayutta is opposite to Sampayutta. Sampayutta Paccayo means association condition. That is why best translated as dissociation condition. So a lot of tongue twisting. I need to be careful with my pronunciation. So, in the scripture, this is how it is written. Material phenomena are related to mental states by dissociation condition, and mental states are related to material phenomena by dissociation condition. So, in other words, it's a set or two sets of conditions under here, or two kinds of dissociation condition. One is material dharma or materiality, cause, immaterial. In other words, rupa cause nama, rupa's condition nama. And another one is immaterial dharma, causing materiality. This one is nama, mind, is causing rupa. So in other words, vice versa, two different conditions. Mind causing matter and matter causing mind, to put in a very simple word. So let's see a little more detail. Under this sets of rule, what is material dharma? Rupa, okay, not the whole range of materiality or rupa. In here is 6 sensitivity or basis. That is material dharma. It refers to 6 sensitivities or basis, condition the immaterial dharma. And in here, what immaterial dharma means? 7 universal mental factors and all types of consciousness. All type mean 89. The voiding of full resultant consciousness. In other words, except full vipaka citta, full resultant consciousness, the remaining 85 are called immaterial Dharma in this condition. And how do they relate, these two? They relate by Pali what is called Sahajata Vippayutta. English is cognizance dissociation. Now a little bit more specific, cognizance dissociation. And another one is pre-nascence dissociation. Pali word is Purijata Vippayutta. So that is how this set of how the material Dharma condition the immaterial Dharma. Now let's see the other set. The other set is the mind condition the matter. So in material Dharma, what does it refer to? Again the same, except for the full resultant consciousness, Vippayutta. The remaining 85 belongs to this. And also all the 52 mental factors. That is called immaterial Dharma. And this immaterial Dharma conditioned the material Dharma. And also very specific by way of cognizance dissociation and post-nascence condition. So the first set is they are conditioned by cognizance and pre-nascence. The second set is conditioned by cognizance dissociation and post-nascence dissociation. Okay, those are the variations one need to know. Otherwise, at a glance, it sounds like everything's the same. Buddha taught us in our continuum of consciousness, Santana. This continuum of consciousness is due to cause and effect relationship of mind and matter. This continuum is due to the interrelationship of mind and matter. What's another word for mind and matter? The 5 aggregates. body, feeling, perception, volitional activities, and consciousness, the 5 aggregates. So that has been explained in Patthana. The continuum is due to the relationship of the 5 aggregates. I put this in just to point out this is what Buddha said. Okay. This continuum is due to mind and matter. But in our daily lives, people expanded it. Instead of mind and matter, they expanded into individuals. Oh, mind and matter is the presentation of individual. Individual is mind and matter. And then what they said was, the close interconnection between persons and individuals from life to life. In other words, a certain very close-knitted group of people, they cross their path from life to life for many lives. They took it as an example as the Jataka. Basically stories of the Buddha's previous past life. And a certain individuals cross path many times before he became a Buddha. His wife, as an example, and Devadatta, his arch enemy, the cousin, they crossed lives many times. They use us as an example, and they say, when you saw somebody, instantly, oh, I felt that I have found my soulmate. I felt that I have known you forever, instantly. And that is what they are trying to refer to. But Buddha's teaching is interrelationship of mind and matter. Okay. It's that continuum. Just a little side explanation. And now, material Dharma. We already said it. What is material Dharma? 6 internal materialities. What are these 6 internal materiality? They are eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and heart sensitivity. Those are the 6 internal materiality. The first 5 is quite easy to understand. Heart sensitivity, the 6th one, is, the elder explained to us, it is a certain blood in the chamber of the heart. Okay, a certain blood, and not just the blood, it is the quality in that blood. Quality in that blood. But that must be in the chamber of the heart. That is the heart base. In other words, that materiality, that quality of the materiality is where the vijnana consciousness depends or base to arise. Consciousness has to have a base to arise. So these are the 6 internal materialities. And let's go to another one to explain. We always talk about the resultant immaterial dharma. In other words, Vippayutta, simply said, resultant consciousness. But to follow the format is set, resultant immaterial dharma, resultant consciousness. What are they? They are the 7 elements with knowing qualities, vijnana dhatu. Okay. They have the 7 elements. These elements have the knowing quality. Pali word is vijnana dhatu. Dhatu means element. Vijnana is consciousness. Consciousness element. And what are they? And they are, one group is called 5 sense consciousness. Seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, smelling consciousness, tasting consciousness, and touching consciousness. These are the 5 of the 7. Straightforward, we use it, we sense it, we applied it every day. In our meditation, we note seeing, seeing, hearing, hearing, touching, touching. That means seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, touching consciousness. And the other 2 are heart-based consciousness. It's called heart-based consciousness. We already explained what heart-based is. From that heart-based, it springs up. It depends on it and spring up. And one is called sense door adverting. Sense door adverting consciousness. And another one is called receiving consciousness. Those are the 7. 2 more. But receiving consciousness has 2 kinds, wholesome and unwholesome. So if you want to say, you can say 8, but it is 7. Just one has a wholesome and unwholesome nature. So you can call it 3, adverting consciousness, wholesome receiving consciousness, unwholesome receiving consciousness. And these 3 are called mano vijnana dhatu in Pali. I wouldn't try to translate into English because we don't have enough words. Mano means mind, vijnana means consciousness, so it becomes confusing. So the combination of this consciousness element Vijnana Dhatu and Mano Vijnana Dhatu. If you combine all those things, it is simply known as intention. Intention, or it has intention, it knows its consciousness, intention. So, those are called simply intention, combination of conscious element and let's call it heart-based conscious element. I'm just trying to explain the meaning of the words that we are using. Otherwise, it's all just about mind and matter, matter and mind, mind and matter, material and immaterial, immaterial and material. But they have a specific allotment to them. That's why it's tedious, but I try my best explaining as I understand. The immaterial Dharma only arise, in other words, Nama, mind only arise, depending on the pre-existing material. So, pre-existing material there must be, and then from that immaterial Dharma, the mind arises. It depends on it. It cannot arise by itself. That's why it is called pre-nascent dissociation condition. That's a condition. The mind depends on the pre-existing matter. Definition is, the word concept is pre-nascent dissociation condition. That's one of the reasons why we give this name. But not only that, these mind, not only that they are pre-existing for the material, but it also expressed in a different way. The immaterial, the mind, appears after the material. They try to cover both ways, but it means the same thing. The mind cannot arise it without the pre-existing material, and then these minds arise after the material. It's just how it is written, so I'm just repeating. And also, these mind and matter, they disappear at a different time. Why do they and how do they disappear at a different time? If you recall previous talks, the lifespan of material is 17 times longer than the immaterial or mind. Let's say if the lifespan of a mind is 1 second, the lifespan of the matter is 17 seconds. So, because of that, they disappear at a different time. That's another reason for calling dissociation condition Vippayutta Paccayo. These are the requirements if you want to call it a dissociation condition. Let's go to the material Dharma. Okay. Material Dharma is eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and heart base. Okay. They do not have the quality to know. They cannot observe. They cannot know. Simple example is a corpse. A dead body has no quality to know. But here it's very specific. They go by the basis: eye base, ear base, nose base, sense base, body base, and heart base. But at the same time, without these bases, if you don't have these bases, if you don't have eyes, one is blind. If you don't have a ear or broken eardrum, you are deaf. If you don't have a tongue, you are mute. And if you don't have the body sensitivity, you are numbed. So all these functions are all thrown out if you don't have these particular parts or sensitivities in your body. That is the material Dharma. And the Nama Dharma has nothing to note on. Nothing to cognize if you don't have eye, ear, nose, tongue, and so on. If you don't have this facility, the consciousness cannot cognize anything. The immaterial Dharma focuses on respective objects, such as eye focuses on the form, ear focuses on the sound. So that's why it's become seeing consciousness, focus on the form, hearing consciousness, focus on the sound, smiling consciousness on smell, tasting consciousness on flavor, and touching consciousness on tangible object. So, the conditioning factor and the conditioned factor does not have the same thing or same object to arise upon. For that reason, it is termed dissociation condition. So all these points that I just described one by one, and all these aspects, if you have all of them, it is befitting to call dissociation condition. It's quite tedious probably to listen. One cannot abandon material dharma. But one can abandon greed, anger, and delusion, conceit, jealousy, and envy of nama dharma. Okay? You cannot do away with the materials, but you can do away with, or you can abandon all the kilesa. Greed, anger, delusion, conceit, jealousy, envy. With what? With vipassana. With vipassana you can do away with them, you can abandon them. And vipassana, what is the key domain of observation in vipassana? 6 sensitivities. That is what we observe when we practice vipassana. Body sensitivity. It is the whole body except the tips of the fingernails, toenails, and hairs. That's body sensitivity. I picked that up because it is quite a good spot for us to observe. We observe rising, falling, sitting, touching, lifting, pushing, and dropping. Why do we observe them? Because they are very obvious where to note, very evident to note, and they are very prominent and also readily available. And anytime, you don't have to be only in sitting meditation. You can be walking and you can be in daily activities, but you can note, observe, readily available. And it's the most effective sensitivity for Vipassana yogis. In general, we call it mindfulness of the body. Once one's concentration's power becomes mature, movement, vibration, push sensation, pulsation, pressure, and they are all wind element. In other words, when the concentration power become mature, the form, shape, size, color disappear, and only the feeling of movement, vibration, pulsation, pressure. That's what remains and what one knows. And also, the increase and decrease in intensity of these are very evident. Whenever one observes or focus on any body part, especially observe on your the end of the fingertips, let's call it, on your lips, in the nostril, you can sense the pulsation, you can sense the vibration, but you must have a stronger concentration. You focus on your lips, you can feel the vibration. You focus on your fingertips, there's a vibration, pulsation. sometime at the temples, sometime at the nostril. Body sensitivity precedes the awareness of the such sensation. Touch sensation comes after. Body sensitivity exists there, but without that body sensitivity, one cannot know. Just picking back up how the preceding conditions are required. To put in a different way, one is observing the mental contact, phassa. What is mental contact? Mental contact is the external material objects, internal material objects of sensitivity, and consciousness coming together at a moment. In other words, I, form, and awareness coming together. I mean eye sensitivity. Ear, sound, and awareness or consciousness coming together. And whenever these come together, it's called phassa, mental contact. So we observe that moment of mental contact. That's what it is by noting, seeing, hearing. You're observing the seeing consciousness. Or you can also say you are observing the moment of mental contact. In other words, you understand deeper. There's a internal material involved, external material involved, and the awareness, consciousness, vijnana involved. Trying to explain the simple thing that you do in your practice, seeing, hearing. Pure Vipassana does not focus on the apparent reality. What is apparent reality? Form, shape, size, color, abdomen, stomach, tummy. That is apparent reality. Vipassana does not focus on the apparent reality, but focuses on the stiffness, tension, pushing, hollowing, mini movements, vibrations. All these things ceasing one after the other. That is ultimate reality. In other words, Vipassana focuses on these. But you cannot pick and choose, and here it is. You have to build up mindfulness, along with it, concentration. With that, you can probe into these ultimate reality. And all these movements and vibrations are due to the external air intake and output. The external air, that is the external material. Internal is the sensitivities in the organ. And this external and internal air input and output, that is rising and falling. beings, in other words, us, we have lived uncountable past lives with apparent reality or concept. And we identify these apparent reality with self, or I, or soul, or individual, or mind. And once we identify with these things, it all leads to suffering. Vipassana yogi must dissociate apparent reality and focus on the apparent reality or truth, always at the present moment, not by imagination or reflection or remembering. Must know on the dot at the present. So may all of you be able to practice mindfulness insight meditation and know the true nature of mind and matter and attain liberation as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.